On February 5th, the first day after the Chinese New Year holiday, hospitals were packed with patients. In Taihe County, Anhui Province, the local hospital was even more crowded than supermarkets before the holiday. A man in Henan posted a video on February 6th saying that getting a simple blood test at the first affiliated hospital of Zhengzhou University felt suffocating. The scene was so chaotic that several patrol officers wearing helmets were there to maintain order. He described the blood test area as packed with people. Even the young security guards were shouting to control the crowd, but they couldn't stop the surge of people pushing forward. It didn't even feel like a medical test anymore. Since late 2024, multiple viruses, including influenza, human metapneumovirus, and COVID-19, have been spreading at the same time. Hospitals across China have been overwhelmed, while authorities have downplayed the outbreak. Many people suspect that COVID-19 is actually the main virus spreading. Recently, China's Center for Disease Control and Prevention made a rare admission, saying that COVID-19 might now resemble the flu. This suggests that many cases diagnosed as influenza could actually be COVID-19. The outbreak peaked around the Chinese New Year holiday. On February 5th, the first working day after the holiday, hospital lobbies were packed, and some patients even compared the crowds to a busy tourist attraction. On February 4th, Beijing's Disease Control Authority issued an urgent warning, saying the city was still experiencing a high number of flu and other respiratory infections. In Hohhot, Inner Mongolia, a paramedic from the 120 Emergency Service posted a video on February 6th, saying that on the first workday after the holiday, the affiliated hospital of Inner Mongolia Medical University was overcrowded. The digestive and respiratory departments were particularly overwhelmed. Another person shared a video saying that on February 6th, the hospital was busier than a bustling market. Even though hospitals never closed for the holiday, many patients had delayed their visits until after the celebrations, leading to a massive backlog. At Shandong Provincial Hospital's South Campus on February 5th, the crowd was non-stop. A vlogger filmed the scene. He said,
Today is February 5th, the 8th day of the Lunar New Year. Let me show you around the hospital. The 4th floor is packed. You can see for yourself. Downstairs, people are lined up to pay fees, with at least 10 in each queue. The 5th floor is just as crowded, and the 3rd floor is even worse. Walking up to the 4th floor made me sweat. I came to pick up a lab report, but after 2 hours, I still can't get out. The lower floors are even more crowded. Shandong Provincial Hospital is one of the best in the province. So many people choose to come here. The 2nd floor is also packed.
A man in Xingmi, Henan, recently told the media that his wife initially just had a cold, but within days, both of her lungs turned white, and she developed multiple organ failure. She has now been in the ICU for over 20 days. The medical bills are so high that he had to sell his car. Many people have reported that this wave of infections is severe, with conditions deteriorating rapidly. Some patients quickly developed white lung syndrome, and sudden deaths have surged. Funeral homes in multiple regions are overwhelmed, with long queues for cremation. Families are even forced to pay extra bribes just to get a slot, while authorities continue to downplay the crisis. A resident in Liaocheng, Shandong, shared that during the holiday, 2 patients in a hospital ward passed away within 10 minutes. The vlogger wrote, 2 people were gone in less than 10 minutes. My hair stood on end. Seeing this makes everything else seem unimportant. The most important thing is having good health. When you really think about it, what's the point of stressing yourself out every day? Being happy and healthy is what truly matters. In the comment, one person wrote, My grandfather passed away on the 3rd day of the New Year. He was fine during the holiday, but then caught a cold, and then by nighttime he was gone. Another person commented, My brother-in-law plays in a funeral band in our hometown. Ever since the New Year ended, they've been overwhelmed with work. And it's not just their band. Every group in the area is fully booked. A vlogger posted a video saying that the flu was hitting hard, with some people going from a fever to cremation in just 3 days. He said that many people had already passed away during the holiday.
I just got back from the hotel and set up a mourning hall for my mother. I also went over the details for tomorrow's funeral. There will be 11 services. It's a busy day. All these people pass away during the Chinese New Year period, and their families chose February 6 as an auspicious day, consulting fortune tellers for the timing. This morning, my dad went to the hospital for the death certificate. He heard that on the day before and after my mom was admitted, 9 out of 10 patients in her ward passed away. It was shocking. I can't say for sure they all died from the flu, but the number is definitely high. Everyone needs to be extra careful.
Another vlogger mentioned the news of Taiwanese actress Barbie Hsu passing away from the flu.
心里面好难受，我现在收拾东西准备回一趟老家。
I feel terrible. Right now, I'm packing up my things to go back to my hometown. I was already shocked by Barbie Hsu's passing, but today I found out that my uncle passed away from the flu as well. I need to rush back home. This virus is truly dangerous. Just a few days ago, on New Year's Eve, my uncle was celebrating with us. He seemed completely fine. On the first day of the new year, he started feeling a bit unwell, but we all thought it was just a regular cold. He was taken to the hospital for an IV drip, and we assumed he'd recover. But by the afternoon, his condition got worse, so he was transferred to a larger hospital. By the second day of the new year, his condition improved a bit, and the doctors even said he might be discharged soon. I returned to Chongqing and called to check on him. They said everything seemed fine, but yesterday, out of nowhere, my cousin called and said his condition had suddenly worsened. Many people online have shared similar stories about losing family members, friends, or colleagues during this time.
今天早上一到公司就听到一个非常震惊的消息。
This morning, when I arrived at work, I heard a shocking piece of news. A colleague I had seen just before the New Year's had passed away. He was only in his 30s. He had pre-existing health issues, and during the COVID-19 pandemic, he was hospitalized once due to a lung infection. This time, his daughter caught the flu, and since his health was already fragile, he got infected too. Within 15 days, he was gone. Life is so fragile, especially with the flu being this severe right now. Everyone really needs to take care of themselves.
今天我们这边的跑圈啊，发生一个特别大的事儿。
Today, something major happened in our local running community. A 48-year-old man collapsed after running about 4 kilometers and never got back up.
It has been 5 years since Dr. Li Wenliang, the COVID-19 whistleblower, passed away. Many people in China believe that the pandemic never truly went away. On February 7th, a woman in Shenyang, Ms. Xu, told overseas media that infections have surged again around the Chinese New Year holiday. The symptoms resemble the common cold, so many people didn't take it seriously until they developed the white lung syndrome and died within 3 or 5 days. Many young people seem to be affected as well. Ms. Xu said that over the past few years, people around her have been getting infected repeatedly. This time, her symptoms were the worst she's ever had. She said, "I just got infected, and I'm still not fully recovered. The hospital diagnosed it as the flu, but it's really COVID-19. The hospital is packed. Emergency rooms are overflowing with people." China's Center for Disease Control recently reported that among 1,513 tested respiratory infection cases, people aged 30 to 40 have a 2.3 times higher risk of being infected with both COVID-19 and the flu compared to other age groups. Dr. Sean Lin, a virologist in the U.S., called this unusual. Previously, teenagers and the elderly were the most vulnerable, but now the virus seems to have adapted to infect more people. He explained that many patients are experiencing secondary bacterial infections, and these bacteria are often resistant to antibiotics, leading to a higher fatality rate. While infections are surging and hospitals are overwhelmed, China's healthcare system is also under strain due to economic decline and severe medical insurance shortages. Right after the Chinese New Year holiday, Nanhulu Hospital in Tangshan, Hebei, abruptly shut down, forcing all patients to leave. On February 7th, numerous local residents shared videos online showing that the hospital had suddenly ceased operations. Staff members informed all inpatients that they either had to be discharged or transferred to another facility. Videos showed patients arriving for treatment but unable to register or get medication. Many were rushing to leave the hospital, and most of the inpatient wards had already been emptied. The hallways were nearly deserted.
I'm currently receiving treatment at Nanhulu Hospital. Yesterday, my doctor suddenly called me and told me to complete my remaining tests as soon as possible because the hospital would be shutting down soon. People are panicking. Rumors are spreading that all departments will be closing. Even the cafeteria, which usually serves meals to patients, has stopped operations. Right now, most people in the hospital are focused on getting discharged. Just a few days ago, the inpatient wards were packed, but now nearly all the rooms are empty as patients are leaving one after another.
Hospital staff later confirmed to Chinese media that they had stopped admitting new patients and had ordered all inpatients to be discharged. When reporters contacted Tangshan's health commission, the staff on duty claimed they were unaware of the situation. Local residents shared online that the hospital had gone bankrupt and could no longer operate. Over 1,000 medical staff were now uncertain about their future. A doctor posted a video from inside Nanhulu Hospital. This place used to be filled with patients. As soon as you walked in, a nurse would guide you to register. Over there was the cafeteria. But now, at around 8 a.m., it's already shut down. The engineering team is packing things up, and the medical offices are empty. There's no one left.
This is the last time I'll be putting on my white coat. I'm at my post now. Today will likely be my last day sitting in this office. There used to be 2 doctors here, and the room was always filled with medical interns. After today, people might sit here again, but it won't be us. Goodbye.
Public records show that Tangshan Nanhulu Hospital opened in 2018. It had a total floor area of 116,000 square meters, an investment of over 2 billion yuan, and over 1,680 hospital beds. The hospital had 41 clinical departments, 15 medical support units, and over 1,700 staff members. It was a large, privately owned Grade 3 hospital that claimed to have strong financial backing. Its sudden closure has shocked many. The hospital's registered capital was 200 million yuan, placing it among the top 1% of businesses in Hebei Province, with 92 million yuan in paid-up capital. On February 7th, a patient posted a video saying that the hospital had excellent medical services, good staff, and a nice environment. What a pity, he said.
I have no idea what's going on. Yesterday afternoon, my doctor suddenly called and said my department might be shutting down. I still had a few tests left, but he urged me to complete them quickly. Once the hospital closed, I wouldn't be able to get them done. I was admitted on February 5th, and at the time, only 2 rooms were left. Beds were in high demand. I chose one, and by the time I returned, the entire ward was full. But when I went back this afternoon, 2/3 of the ward was already empty. The remaining patients were mostly critical cases who couldn't leave right away. Many are now looking to transfer to other hospitals. It's such a shame.
Another vlogger expressed disbelief, saying, "My grandfather is still in Nanhulu Hospital. How did it suddenly shut down?" A different vlogger questioned how a hospital could even go bankrupt.
The flu was widespread before the holiday, and now it's still spreading. If it's not the flu, it's mycoplasma pneumonia or some other respiratory virus. The hospitals have been packed with patients. Tell me, what kind of business is struggling right now? Where are there fewer people? Hospitals should never be short of patients, right? So how could a hospital go bankrupt? If someone says the hospital ran out of money, even a child wouldn't believe it.
He said that since 2023, almost every year, there have been waves of COVID-19, influenza, mycoplasma pneumonia, and various respiratory infections, each coming in 2 rounds per year. Yet, hospitals are still going bankrupt, which is unbelievable. What's even more shocking is that Nanhulu Hospital was a top-tier facility with excellent service and modern facilities, yet it suddenly collapsed for no apparent reason. Vlogger Zhang Tianming analyzed the reasons behind Nanhulu's hospital closure. He pointed out that most people assume hospitals are highly profitable businesses, and many individuals work hard to become doctors for the stability and high pay. So hearing that a hospital has gone bankrupt is deeply unsettling. He identified a few key reasons for the collapse. 1. Patients are increasingly choosing large public hospitals. Bigger hospitals, especially top-tier ones, have more advanced medical equipment and better qualified doctors, making them more attractive than smaller facilities. 2. Healthcare insurance reforms. Strict limits on medication use have made treatments less flexible. If a condition doesn't improve quickly, many patients either switch hospitals or simply stop treatment altogether. 3. Changing perceptions of the medical profession. In recent years, strained patient-doctor relationships and concerns about medical ethics have made the profession less appealing. The closure of hospitals may just be the beginning of a larger trend. Before this, multiple hospitals across China had already been struggling with financial difficulties, wage arrears, or outright closures. Reports indicate that local governments are also facing financial constraints, making it difficult to allocate healthcare funds on time. According to Yu Xiaobao, vice president of the Private Hospital Management Committee of the China Hospital Association, over 2,000 private hospitals have gone bankrupt due to financial struggles since the COVID-19 outbreak in late 2019. This number continues to rise. Official Chinese data shows that around 45% of public and private hospitals nationwide are operating at a loss. In 2024 alone, over 500 hospitals closed down, mostly small and medium-sized private hospitals. Another vlogger shared that Wuhan Baijia Maternity Hospital also went bankrupt. Employees, including doctors, nurses, chefs, and cleaning staff, hadn't been paid for 3 or 4 months. The boss had disappeared, leaving workers without their hard-earned wages. Many hospitals are struggling to survive, but the pandemic is still raging. Instead of addressing the domestic crisis, Chinese state media have focused on flu outbreaks in Japan and the US, downplaying the severity of the situation in China. The lack of transparency is deeply concerning, as the true number of deaths remains unknown. Beijing abruptly ended its strict zero-COVID policy in December 2022 without implementing proper protective measures. This led to a massive wave of infections and deaths across the country. Crematoriums and funeral homes are overwhelmed, with long queues for cremation, sometimes requiring a 2-week wait. However, the actual death toll remains a closely guarded secret. Since then, China's Ministry of Civil Affairs has stopped publishing burial and cremation data, fueling suspicions that the government is hiding the true scale of the crisis. To this day, authorities have not resumed releasing these figures.